Puseletso, we just want to thank you so much. You have given your time on a very short notice as well. Yes, may God bless you for that. Let me just introduce you very briefly and then you can take over. So okay. Puseletso is a mindset and personal development specialist. She has over 30 years experience in health and wellness. She's also a serial entrepreneur. So Puseletso, I'll give it over to you. And thank you so much for being on our platform.
Thank you so much for asking me to come through. I mean, CWENA is home. So when there's a gap, we fill in. We were asked to be the ambassadors. So I believe this is what ambassadors do to close the gap and to stand in for our sisters when they are not feeling well. So I am really blessed and appreciative of this moment. I know that God doesn't make a mistake. I do believe that when something happens or when something doesn't go right, and then your name is called, that the impact and your presence being known. And I don't take it lightly that I was the one asked to come through this morning to talk to you about one of the most powerful discussion around resilience and tenacity, especially during this time. We come from a very tough time of COVID and lockdown, and as businesses, we have felt the impact. In fact, we are still continuing and feeling the impact of COVID in our businesses. And only resilience is what will keep us going and achieving more. So my approach in this talk is not going to be a talk you are listening. I thought, because I'm a transformation coach, why not bring in a practical way on how we can understand resilience and do self-assessments and check where we are sitting individually in terms of coping during times of adversity, and what are the tools and methods that we can use to cope with life, and when it gives us lemons, how can we turn them into lemonade? So I want to approach it from a group coaching perspective versus approaching it as a talk. So last night I had to go back to some of the work that I do, and I found that I have a coaching handbook. So I will be using that as my presentation for today. I will advise you to grab a pen and paper next to you, because as we are asking these questions, maybe you might need to jot down something as you reflect on your life. Okay, let me present it from here. You know, technology, we use different tools. Yeah, can you see that?
Yes, yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So what I hope that you will get out of is to help you gain better understanding of your own resilience habits and plan your own strategies to improve them. That is why, as I said, this will be more like a group coaching versus a talk. And I hope that you walk away with an understanding of your own resilient habits and plan your own strategies around how do I move on. So what is resilience and how do we understand by resilience? And in the definition that I got, it says the ability to overcome hardships. So because sometimes that it affects emotionally, physically, mentally. That is sometimes when we talk about resilience, we need to look at how your resilience of mental resilience, in terms of physical. So my focus is mainly on the mental resilience and building that mental strength, especially when you are going through stress and emotional turmoil, sufferings, and other mental issues that can affect you in coping. And we know as small businesses, when you are sick, your business also gets sick. When you are down, your business is also down with you. So how do you bounce back? How can you build that flexibility in you and mentally be able to cope and rise above your obstacles? They say people with resilience have the strength to process and overcome adversity. However, it doesn't mean that they are not going to be faced with these challenges, but they do not allow themselves to get overwhelmed, or they don't store negative emotions for long within themselves. So could this be you? Are you one of the people who is able to look at an obstacle or a challenge and be able to overcome it without it knocking you down for good? Because if we look into our lives right now, even some of the business challenges that we might have faced, we can say a lot about how we coped with life. There are times that some people are able to walk on pain and still be able to rise above that. And there are people who literally feel depleted, stuck, and they don't even know where to go when life challenges them. While others, they thrive during times of adversity because they become more creative and innovative. So we are all wired differently. And what informs that is basically how we see ourselves and how we cope with life, how we are wired from our upbringing, our schooling, our environment where we grew up in. And all that can determine where you fall during the times of adversity. There are people who never got COVID, but they were depleted, they were stuck, they were just consumed by fear and did not manage to work against what life was throwing at them. While others really, regardless the fact that COVID knocked them down, they still could rise and be able to find their way and build and find new ways of doing things in terms of coping with what the new norm is pushing us on. So with this handbook, really, we are going to look at our own life, our own resilience assessment and be able to be truthful and say, I never gotten time to actually ask myself this question. And I don't know whether I succumb, I am disabled, I navigate, or I thrive. So I want you to put in the chat now, which one or where do you think you fall in terms of how you react to adversity? Do you succumb, meaning that you become dysfunctional, functioning, meaning you still can work, but it knocks you down so hard? Coping and be able to stand up, it takes you long. Or do you become totally disabled, which means survival and coping is not really there and you get so stuck and it can even lead you into depression? Or do you navigate life by moving forward and dealing with issues? So you work, you know that you are experiencing this, but you don't let it know, you still continue working. Or do you thrive? And it inspires you to find more about you. It inspires you to stand up and rise up above the obstacles, and you become more resourceful and you're full of strength. So I'm curious to know in the room, where do you fall? Can I just get you to respond in the chat and say, which one am I? Do I succumb? Do I become disabled? Do I navigate, or do I thrive? Okay, I navigate for now. Tunserai says I navigate for now, and Edith says I navigate. Let everyone put in, let's see, guys. Tepiso says, at the moment I navigate. Okay, let me hear more. Tanzania also is navigating. Okay. How many are we? I only got few. Okay. So most people in this room are navigating. Nosipo is as well. She navigates and thrives. So she falls on the 2. I see. No, thank you so much, guys, for sharing that with me. Okay, Catherine also, she says she is between the 2. She navigates and also thrive. That is excellent. Okay, so we still move forward. I mean, life somehow, especially as entrepreneurs, we need to really build ourselves up to be able to navigate and eventually to thrive. If you are not thriving, I personally find myself thriving. But here's the thing. I thrive in the moment, and I always believe that I thrive better in chaos. And reason being, I'm a solution-orientated person. I'm forever looking for challenge. I'm forever looking for solution to overcome adversity. But here's the thing about me. I am a late reactor. I might thrive during the heated moment in the peak of my life when things are not going well. But when things start going well, then I succumb or I become disabled. I don't know what happens. Somehow I'm a late reactor. I do not give in during the time when I'm going through something. But when things start going well, I can feel the impact of what has happened when I became strong and I thrived during the moment of adversity. So we all are wired differently, as I have indicated, and thank you guys for sharing. Okay. So I believe that you will agree with me that resilience starts with self-awareness. So self-awareness meaning the ability to accurately perceive our own emotions and to stay aware of our emotions as they happen and to keep on top of the things or respond to specific situations and people. And with this awareness, it helps us with improving our own self-awareness, meaning know thyself. Taking time in moments like this, in sessions such as this, and invest and being able to be developed and be taught and help you see some of the blind spots that we don't always spend time in asking ourselves the right questions. I was saying, who am I and how do I feel? How do I think? What are the type of thoughts that go through my mind? When I go into a situation and things don't work out, how do I react to that? Am I remaining positive, or the first thought that comes to mind, is it the positive one or the negative one? And what kind of emotions that are evoked in me? And how can I manage and be able to improve myself where I see the limitations? And these are some of the things that when it comes to self-awareness, the only thing that we can use it for is to keep continuous development and continuous investment in our growth so that we become a better versions of ourselves. To some of us, we are not even aware that we are negative because we want to believe that we are positive. But when circumstances of life put pressure on us and squeezes us, then we realize that we react negatively to situations. And the other thing about awareness is to use that awareness for our own self-manage. And what does that mean? Which is the ability to use awareness of our emotions and to be flexible and positive to direct our behaviors and also manage our emotional reactions at all situations and people. So there's a quote by Plato that says, the first and the best victory is to conquer self. And that basically brings me to this